A little while ago we tested the RAV4 Edge, the top model. They've changed RAV4. They've changed it from that cute little car that we had in the early 90s, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew to something that wasn't so nice in that last generation. And just recently they released this one, and they put a whole bunch of stuff into it. Now remember, safety is important, and safety is apparently their first concern, because I'm not quite sure that the external design was. And I promised you that I'd bring the base model as soon as I possibly could. Hope the wind's not too disturbing. So this week we've got the RAV4 two-wheel drive manual GX. There's about $18,000 between the top one, the Edge, and this one, the GX. The GX still gets lots of great stuff. It still gets those full LED automatic headlights. So they come on at night, and they've got an automatic high beam function as well. The main difference with this car is it's two-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive, and it's petrol with about 20 less kilowatts roughly, and about 40 less Newton meters. The truth is that most people, given the choice, will get an SUV with two-wheel drive. This one drives the front wheels. The other thing you miss out on is smart entry, so you've got to get the key out of your pocket and operate it with the buttons. And around the back you also miss out on things like the electric tailgate. Again, if you've never had it, you won't miss it. It's very easy just to reach in and it'll go up by itself anyway. Space inside is exactly the same. This has a space saver spare tyre, but you can option a full-size one if you want. I think that might be a good idea. Got these new glasses too. Although I've got transitions, these go dark. They won't go dark behind a car windscreen. So, ta-da! Now I can see what I'm doing. The first thing you notice about this manual is that it's incredibly easy to drive. Very, very easy. No different to driving an automatic in many ways. Although a lot of people have been scared off manuals, and some people just don't like driving them because it's extra trouble in traffic, and there's no doubt that it is extra trouble in traffic. But the clutch is unbelievably, the clutch is unbelievably light. Very, very light, in fact. The gearbox is very notchy, but you always know exactly what gear you're in. If you don't push it left or right, it goes into third and fourth, up and down. If you push it to the left, first and second, and to the right, fifth and sixth. Now we're on a suburban road, getting up to 60. It's when you first notice that you really have to work the gears. The other thing that you notice is that the base model RAV4 is a little noisier on the road than the Edge. But apart from that, it's the same everything. The same electric power steering, still has 11 meters from curb to curb. There's still Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the same 8-inch touchscreen tablet. And there's more too. Toyota hasn't skimped on the safety gadgets. Some brands, in the base models, you miss out on all the really good stuff. There are one or two things this car doesn't have simply because it's a manual. It still has active cruise control, but obviously it doesn't have Q Assist. It can't have Q Assist because you've got to use a clutch. It also has active lane control and AEB. Here's the full list of safety features in Toyota Safety Suite. But the main differences between this and the top Edge are the nifty orange highlights. This cabin, by comparison, looks a little bit drab. It's got a 4.2-inch screen between the dials, and that's where you set some of the settings and so forth. It's also where you'll find a digital speedo, and I like a digital speedo. There's nothing more precise than being able to look up and see exactly what speed you're doing. There's no heads-up display, obviously, but there is blind spot monitoring, part of Toyota's Safety Suite. It's also got driving modes too, though frankly the driving mode doesn't make all that much difference. You can get the wheels to chirp when you take off, and again down on the centre console you'll notice that the air conditioning isn't dual zone climate control. Oh no, this one is just plain old manual. You control the temperature by means of a dial. It's not set to a particular degree, just hot or cold, and the fan you control with the other knob. The ride, I can't notice much of a difference between this and the top model, the Edge. The other useful feature is auto hold. So press that button and the brakes will hold you in traffic. So you can then just take your foot off the clutch and off the accelerator and the car will just hold itself. A little bit like hill hold assist, except this happens on flat surfaces or any other surface for that matter. I'll just get us up to speed. Now I'm going to activate the active cruise control. There we go. So we're now set at 80 kilometers an hour. The car will keep you at that speed and slow down if the traffic in front slows down. But there is a bit of a party trick that I noticed the other day, and that is that you can change gears without having to use the accelerator. So you can just keep your foot on the floor and just use your left foot on the clutch, which I think is quite handy. And you can do that down to a slower speed, and at some stage the cruise control will just turn off. And the second, obviously, you put your foot on the brake, it'll turn off. The sound system too is a little bit lacking, especially if you've driven the Edge. Those models get the JBL upgraded speakers, and you really notice that difference in sound. It's not that it's bad, it's just not as good as the JBL system. And for $18,000, I'd expect a little bit extra for my money. Whenever I get into the base model of a car, I usually expect to be disappointed. And for the first few hundred meters, I was. I'd gotten out of something that had a lot more power, and so this felt really underpowered. But once I got used to having to keep the gears low and the revs high, this was absolutely fine. Fuel consumption is really not all that different to the larger capacity engine in the RAV4 Edge. Because the two cars are so similar, the GX and the Edge, I'm not going to do a full review on this, but I will put a link in the comments below to the RAV4 Edge review that I did a little while ago. Once the coronavirus epidemic is over, we'll get back to doing full long distance reviews. That's it for this week. RAV4 two-wheel drive, petrol, manual. If you've liked the film, as always, leave a comment below and please hit like. Don't forget, hit just there to subscribe.